Welcome to the final episode of the Lose Your Mind podcast, series three. It's a wrap for this series from us, and we are going to be summarizing and sharing all things that come to us today. We are a bit off the cuff, aren't we? So we're going to see where this takes us before embarking on a series four in the future at some time. Hello, Alan.
Hello, Kelly. How are you?
I'm good, actually. Yeah, I'm good, I think, today.
Oh
How are
yeah.
you?
Why is that? Tell us why you're good.
Well, the sun's shining, which always pleases me. It's nothing like feeling the sunshine on your face, just the warmth of the sun, just appreciating the moments that, carry you through the difficult ones. And I'm really excited to get to this point because we had quite a pause between series two and series three. But it's good to be back, and I've really enjoyed our conversations.
Yeah, me too. I've really enjoyed this series. I think we've got into our stride a bit, haven't we? And I think the break to do those other things that we've had to talk about a bit, it's been really exciting to share that. So yeah, I'm kind of sorry this is over, but there'll be another series, of course. So let's not be
There
too
will
sad.
be.
Let's just enjoy the moment.
We will enjoy the moment. And that's what it's about, isn't it? It is about enjoying the moment. We've had that woven through every episode in some way that when we come back to the moment and when we come back to that place inside where everything's okay, you know, that we're here right now. And as you said, and I've taken this with me, no action needed. Like in this moment, you know, we don't need to take action. So for anyone that's listening that, might have been with us on the journey or just tuned in now, we always have times where we can just pause and think, right now, we don't actually have to do anything at all. And I was at a Wellbeing day recently and felt quite overwhelmed myself. And I acknowledged all I wanted to do was be with how I was feeling without needing to figure it out. And sometimes we just need that. And that's what we're sharing here, that it's those things that people don't feel are important are the hugely, sometimes life-changing moments that take us away from the burnout and the anxiety, step by step, little by little, one moment at a time.
Yeah, I think sometimes we forget that it's all about the only moment we have is the moment here right now. That's the only thing we can control, isn't it? The future is a prediction which will never come true in the way we think, probably, and the past is a figment of our imagination now anyway. Your past view of the past is different to mine, and so the only thing that's real is right here, right now. And the thing you said about that no action needed, I love that, and I love using that with my clients because if you just take that pause, that moment to yourself, I love the way you use that word pause because it is like pressing the pause button on the video, as I would call it, being an old person. But that no action needed right now. It's almost like you just still everything down and all that drama in your head, the future worries, the regrets of the past, they all just seem to fade away because right now in this moment, in your, kind of circumference around you, everything's okay, isn't it?
It
Everything's
is.
actually okay.
And that's where the insights and the rediscovery comes from. And we said in our intro, this series, that we are, rediscovering our own voices. And I think even from series one to now to series three, so much has changed for both of us, in how we express our own voice and, beyond just sharing meditations, just our passion for how important this is to make a huge difference. And anyone listening, I just really hope that they feel slightly connected to their own voice, and just tap into that intuitive knowing inside because I am going to go there. There are so many signs around us. We already know and have the answers, but we spend a long time trying to hold on to things that once was our template of existence. And we're only free and in that place of freedom when we trust. And it's difficult to trust because it feels scary, but we have to do it. And these mindful moments and pauses, there's no action needed. That's where you can listen and you can tune in. And it's so valuable, so valuable. So I've loved doing this series and just strengthening my own voice with you because it's a safe place and we all need places where we can have open, honest conversations to figure out who we are and cultivate that love and connection that we all want because it sits there for us all. And we want freedom. Who doesn't want freedom? I mean, you just want to be free to be yourself without all these layers of pressure and stress and anxiety. And, you wrote your book around burnout. We only get to the climbing up that ladder stage out of desperation to try and fit in or understand. And we need to, slowly come back down and figure out and just trust. So, yeah, conversations and sharing our voice as we
Yeah.
are now, so important. Sorry, I'll let you
Yeah,
get a
like
word in a minute.
no, no, I'm
Sorry.
quite happy sitting here listening. Um, yeah, it is about a voice, isn't it? You're right. I'm just reflecting. Our voices have changed as we become more experienced in what we do and the different things we do in our respective businesses. And I think our voices have changed as we talk to each other about mindfulness and what we've learned, and we love sharing, coming together on these things and sharing these things. And I think that's what it's all about. And that no action needed, by the way, is doesn't mean you don't take action when you need to take action. It's just that we're constantly the the on button is always on, isn't it? And it shouldn't be on all the time. We can't be in fight or flight mode all the time. So we have to turn that button off. And when we do turn that button off, we stop the brain taking over. And I'm not sure I've used this pun very often in this series. We lose our minds, which is what this is all about. Losing our minds in a good way, because the mind can be a very powerful ally, but it can also be your worst enemy. So getting out of your mind and becoming you, the real you, and also understanding yourself is what we're trying to get across here, isn't it, Kelly?
It is coming home to yourself. And I think even through this series, it's become really apparent that compassion for ourselves is absolutely fundamental. We have to give ourselves compassion so that we're able to be with how we feel. And, we've done the thoughts, thinking, feeling, emotion thing. I'm going to
Yeah,
share the new model that we both understand now. I'm going to
go
actually
for
read
it.
it. So our feelings inform our thinking, and then that becomes our emotion. So if the feeling is always at the start, if we're not able to pause and be with that feeling, we don't get to go on the exploration of what that thought is guiding us to this emotion that's got the insight that we need to get to the freedom that we want. So we have to have these moments to enable the freedom and to come home to ourselves because when you're in a space where you can be completely you, whatever that looks like, there's no other freedom like it. It's exhausting trying to be someone you're not being able to say what you want to say, not feeling comfortable asking for what you need. But it's okay to want those things. So we have to trust our experience and not strive all the time because that no action needed, that brings me back to that mindful attitude. And I think actually, rather than that's a wrap or it's a wrap, we should call this no action needed
Why
because
not?
it's such an important thing to just that. I mean, I feel like we could wrap this episode up right here because
Well, why
it's
why don't we in a few minutes, I suppose. But yeah, I was watching um a series, a box set. The name escapes me for the minute, but there was a Thai Buddhist monk, and he was talking to this guy who was having, he was a rich, I think an investment banker or something, and he was doing deals and some dodgy deals, and he was doing it all for the money because he was chasing his greed, and because he was feeding some subconscious need that he had to be earning a lot of money, and it had got him into trouble, and this guy was all over the place, and he was talking to this monk, and he had this epiphany because he just said to him, we go chasing pleasure. We have pain, and then we go chasing pleasure. And what do we actually find is more pain? And then it's because this constant striving, as you just talked about, this constant reaching is actually to mask something generally. And when you actually peel it all away and get underneath it all, we don't need much more than what we've actually got. In fact, we don't really need any more than we've actually got, or the next meal, or the next day, the next sleep, do we? We don't need any more than that. We just seem to want it. And it's this wanting that drives us into this striving and will just keep us forever enchained. So, as you said, freedom's what we all want. That's the way to get it, is to let go of that need to strive.
There we go. You heard it here. No
Lecture
action
over.
needed.
No action needed. Yeah, we're going to turn everybody into, just kind of, hey, real chilled out Zen people. No, we're not, are we? Because being mindful doesn't mean you lose all ambition, does it? But what it does mean, I
No.
think, is that you do it a little bit more choicefully, and you do it with a bit more energy because you're not wasting your energy, exhausting yourself, chasing things you don't need to.
I know, and I think when we do that, we learn so much more. And I remember a few episodes back, it might have even been the last series, but you asked me, what does lose your mind mean to me? It was in the freewheeler episode, I think, because I listened back. And you put me on the spot. But the more I think about lose your mind, what does it mean? And when we think about feelings and emotions and all the fundamental things that really guide us to that place of freedom, even with the story you just shared, it's really apparent, isn't it, that we're kind of grasping for these things to feel a certain way, but we can find that place in the middle, where we don't really need anything at all when you're able to just be. I mean, I've had some of the best times being completely present with nothing around me at all, except for just knowing that I'm in a space where I can just be myself. And, you feel that sense of presence and freedom without not needing anything and lose your mind. When you do lose it a little bit, you're able to listen, you're able to feel, and your body, somatically, there's so much research and practice now around how somatically we can help ourselves. It's coming into hospitals and all sorts of things. And that's what we need to do. We do need to lose our minds, because if we sit up there, we'll never understand what you just shared, from the Buddha. It just would not be possible. We have to feel those emotions are almost messengers, just guiding us to what's going on. If you think about crying, when you feel that sadness and then that emotion becomes present, like crying, that that's telling you that something needs to be addressed. You have to welcome it, not necessarily action it, like you said, but it has to be allowed to come through, and the answers present themselves. So we're wrapping up with no action needed. Alan, final words?
Well, yeah, we've packed a lot into this actually. I think more than we thought we were going to, and but a good way to end the series, I think. So I think I'm going to lose my mind and go and get a new one.
Why would you do that? The one you've got is perfectly fine.
I know it's fine. I just need to use it. I just need to use it better, like we all do, because it has such
Yeah.
possibilities for us, but sometimes it just trips us up. But that's what we're working with. And also, it's always a work in progress, isn't it? We're always on the pathway. We're never quite there at the destination. So, which I like about it, because I think if you conquered everything through this and were completely blissful all the time, life would be boring. It's always nice to have worlds still to conquer.
I agree. So I think for me is what I would like to finish with here is thank you to anyone that's been listening. Thank you for being with us today and in all other episodes. And remember, the more open and honest conversations that you have and express in your own voice, the less lonely you feel. And we've got you.
Well done. We have got you indeed. Kelly's referring there, of course, to something she said back in episode 1 of this series and has repeated it a few times. And we do like to think that if you are struggling with these mental gremlins, then we've got a solution here for you, which is mindfulness, whether you choose to use it or not. And we hope you enjoy our conversations as much as we do. So, and we're looking forward to coming back for some more. But for now, from me, that is a wrap. So, thank you, Kelly, and thank you to anybody that's listened.
Thank you too.
See you
Bye
next
bye
time.
for now.
Bye bye for now.